Good news of the day. Jesus Christ died for our sins, and he has given you eternal life. He loves you infinitely, and he wants you to join him in eternal life in heaven with the Father and the Holy Spirit. You're valuable and important to him, and you have great worth in his eyes. If you're struggling or going through something difficult, you're going to get through it. You're strong. Jesus loves you, and he's with you. He's ready to be accepted into your heart at any time. Ask for forgiveness for your sins and accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, and you will be saved. Please know how loved and special you are and how you are an irreplaceable child of God. Stay strong and take care of yourself. Grapes, wine. Barley, beer. Raindrops, puddles. Trainees, idols. Island, Enhypen. When I first heard Big Hit was partnering with The Snake, putting on some survival show to make a 7-member new boy group, I was vaguely interested. Interested because I like groups made by Big Hit, specifically BTS and TXT more specifically, but I was not overly thrilled because K-pop survival shows are truly one of the dumbest forms of entertainment in the genre of K-pop that they've ever devised. They've always been completely nonsensical to me. The voting is 100% rigged in these shows, whether directly by the producers with a physical list of selected candidates before the show even starts airing to the fans who are supposed to vote. And in other cases, it's just rigged by basically the amount of screen time and focus they give to each contestant. But that's a video for another time. Today we're going to be reviewing Enhypen's first mini album, Border Day 1. So prepare yourselves for teen vampires, Promised Neverland references, and me being a little bit of a bitter old savage. So yeah, there we go.
Colored sunrise, burning bright across the world.
We're going to start right off with the intro of the album called Intro Walk the Line. So basically this is the intro to the album. It's mostly spoken word poetry over, there is some kind of back vocal singing, I believe in Latin. I think it's by mostly Heesung. I'm not really sure, but the primary focus of the song is the spoken word poetry, if you want to call what I witnessed poetry, basically over some kind of marching band drums and weird chanting. Like I already said, this is a totally bizarre intro. I believe it's a little under 2 minutes or something like that. So I'm not a particular fan of this intro. I always skip it. It just sounds not particularly good on my ears to me personally. I always skip this. I'm always like, what is going on? All the weird chanting, the weird I'm not a personal fan of this intro piece thing. I don't really have much to say about it. All I want to say in general is I'm kind of against intro and outros as a general in albums, and Enhypen producers really love to do this, at least with their first 2 mini albums. And I know they're really pressed for time because they release twice a year, and that's insane to push out tracks. But honestly, I would rather just have the songs without the intro and outro, or maybe they could combine the times they kind of take to work on the intro and outro and make one more song for the album. I don't know. I just don't think if something's only half baked, why put it in the album at all? Why not just make it smaller? And that's an order. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so unfortunately the intro is not my favorite at all. I would literally rather it just not exist at all. Wow, that's pretty harsh, but yep. Give and Taken. So Give and Taken was their debut single, They're Vampires. That's pretty cool. It's kind of a bop in my opinion. It's got this slick, smooth production. It's got nice vocal production. It's kind of clean and almost twinkling sounding in the music in my opinion. And I just think it's pretty nice overall. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I can certainly tell that this song had the most work put into it in the album, in my humble opinion. You can just hear how polished they wanted this single to be for the kids' debut, and it worked in my opinion. It sounds really slick and pleasing on the ears and unique in a kind of non-confronting way. It's almost like a confident statement. It's basically saying we don't need to be flashy to make Enhypen monster rookies with this song. I mean, you can just almost hear the money in the production. I mean, it's kind of weird to say, but it's just so professional and clean and slick sounding. So you can definitely tell that I think they invested a lot of time since they knew that this was going to be people's first impression, and they also knew not many other people who weren't engines were going to bother to listen to the rest of the album, so they wanted just that first impression, and for some people their only impression, to just be like, we are a professional idol group, we're here to take names and get all the awards and stuff like that. So anyway, that's pretty cool. As for notable performances, I think Heesun's vocals are really nice here. They're very sharp and keening, especially in the bridge, and they definitely elevate the piece, and they give the whole song a bit more flavor. The whole song is very like sterile. That is not, I can't speak English, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that sterile, it's like that medical term where everything's like clean and crisp, and like I need to go to speech class again. But basically, like, he's kind of got that like little like sharp keening voice, and that really like Heesung's voice is very weird. Is my hamster doing something? Ignore Layla. But anyway, and I just like how he can kind of manipulate it. So in this song he's a lot like sharper than he is in other pieces, and I thought that gave the song a bit more punch, a little more like, you know, flavor and zest in it, because just such a clean production. I just think that that really added something. Also, like, he puts a little whine into his voice. He's a little whiny, especially in that bridge part, and I just kind of like that flavor he gives his vocal tone. I think that's really nice. Also wanted to share some of my favorite lyrics from the bridge. Red blood on that crown, that blood dripping down, red blood, my fingers pointing to you keep staining red, but I'm gonna go. I just love the crown imagery. It's kind of dumb and stupid, but the finger staining red is super cool and gothic, and I just love me some emo graveyard energy. Like, this is giving me I'm dangerous, I'm Edward Cullen, babe, vampire. It's like that they're all wearing dark eyeliner in the energy of that line, and it just gives some like emo gothic life to this very sterilized song, like I said earlier. Also, like, that line of their basically to get the crown, there's like a blood dripping down, and like their finger, it's like dripping red or stained red, or whatever. The translations I looked are like a little different. So basically it reminded me how back on the show Island, they had to kind of like destroy the other contestants, which they liked and like respected. And how now I'm like not saying they destroyed them, but they had to beat them. There had to be winners and losers, and the fact that they won, they had to like kind of like is inadvertently the others failed, and they made them do that basically because they were so good. And there, you know, there was some like tactics in Island, like there was like I kind of loved all that stupid politics stuff at the beginning between themselves. Like, it made no sense because like how does manipulation within a group make you a good idol? But I liked it because at least the producers and fans couldn't like rig it. How do fans rig it? I don't know. We're going off on a tangent. But anyway, and that line also with the crown dripping red and like their fingers being stained with red, which obviously is blood. Basically, it kind of reminds me how they have entered the kind of cutthroat business of showbiz, the Enhypen boys themselves, and therefore they now have metaphorical like blood on their hands. Simply, like, on Island, I already mentioned there's only 7 winners, and that means because of their success, everyone else on the show were the not winners of the show. And basically, yeah. And I also like in this piece, give and take, in the meta commentary about how basically the song, one of the ways to interpret it, you can kind of interpret it more vaguely or specific to the island, like the Enhypen group. It's basically the song is like, were they given this chance to be this new group and Hypen, like to be blessed by the viewers and like given this opportunity, was it selflessly given to them through others' grace and will, or did they take this chance? Did they take their future into their own hands by fighting like hell and seizing the opportunity to be on a show like Island, where you are gifted it by the viewers, by your own love, and the judges, whether they like you or not too, but you have to take and seize that chance to like crawl, fight, and like flex your way to the top. So I like the kind of meta commentary that the fans of Island gave them this chance to be Enhypen and to start this new idol life, but also it's like contemplating how much were they given it and how much did they take the opportunity for themselves and like break their backs and like bend over backwards to win. And like I think the answer personally is like yes, yes, and yes. Like both are yes or yes, and both are true. Like hence the meta question of the song. And this is like portrayed in the music video as being vampires. Like when you're in a vampire, you become like an immortal, very powerful being, and you could obviously make the connection to being a musical idol or artist as something that's like immortalized, as more powerful than a normal person in society, and who possibly has longevity more than a normal person because artists can live on through their music even after their deaths. And obviously, like I believe in an afterlife and stuff like that, like heaven and hell and all that stuff. But that's not what we're talking about. And I'm on a tangent again. But the point is, like, it's kind of like an interesting way they've chosen to portray that, like through vampires. And like, I can't get over Twilight. I just read the books, and like, we're not gonna go down that road. We're not gonna go down that road. But like, I think someone in the high building is also a Twilight fan. But we're just going to move on from that nonsense, okay? So basically, I kind of like the meta question, like I already said. And I also have to say that one of my only complaints would be that the song is so specific to Enhypen. Like, it's a very interesting emotional question to contemplate whether you were gifted something or whether you took it, but it's also highly specific. Like, who else is someone who became like famous or like a famous politician? That's the only, like, a politician is the only thing close to like a celebrity, like two things that I can think of, because in some ways like politicians are sort of celebrities in a different, obviously different, very different spheres. One is entertainment, one is politics, but it's like I feel like normal people aren't in situations where these kind of emotional complex conversations are very relevant or like relatable. And not every song has to be relatable, but sometimes that can be a good aspect. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you can like disagree with me, like, oh, I live a pretty normal life, but I contemplate these feelings all the time. Like, I don't believe you, but you can try to say that if you want. And I'm just saying, like, this is a super specific experience. Most people are never given such power or opportunity as to really contemplate whether, you know, this was a gift or whether they took it. Like, that's just something that normal people don't really, I feel like, contemplate on that level. It's very specific to Enhypen and artists and people of that level of society. And I think that it's cool that it's unique to them. But like I said, it is kind of cool when you can relate to a song and kind of interpret it to like relate to yourself and stuff like that. So, in contrast, like two other groups around the same age that don't really fall into this problem is like ITZY's song, like Dalla Dalla, that's about like self-empowerment and accepting yourself, and that's like specific to them and like not trying to adhere to other people's standards and being confident in yourself. And like I'm sure the ITZY girls themselves literally feel that, but also as a young adult I can sing that song and like relate to the feeling of those messages. Another example is TXT's Crown, their debut single. It's specifically like about TXT and their life and as they're going through puberty and adolescence and stuff like that, and also storyline where they get magical powers, but we're not bringing that up. But it's also a song that anyone who's gone through puberty and felt insecurity in their adolescence and were in growing and physical and mental changes, they can all relate to that. So it's basically the song is both specific to the artist but also relatable to the audience. And so that would be like my one complaint about Give and Taken is the subject matter. Even though the subject matter is really cool from a meta point of view, especially as someone who watched the show and all that stuff, I do think it's highly specific to Enhypen, and not many other people can relate to this song except other famous people. So I do think that's a big downside, because if you don't know their background, like the whole island show and stuff, you're literally like, what is this song about? Like, it's a very kind of like complex, emotional, mental discussion they're almost having. But like, if you're not reading the all the lead up, you don't really know what's going on. So I don't know, that would be my one complaint. But overall, I think this is a really good song, and it's one of my favorite ones on this particular album. I will say I don't come back to it all that often, but whatever it comes on, I don't change it. And I just think the song overall is pretty slick. It's like, really, there's nothing I can say negative about it except that weird thing where normal people can't really relate to the meaning. But literally, there's nothing other objectively bad in this song. The productions are so good, the vocals are good, the lyrics are good, And I mean, I do think the lyrics are a little cliche at times, but other than that, like, I think the lyrics are pretty cool, and like, it's nothing wrong with being a tiny bit cliche sometimes, so we're all good. So yeah, overall, I'd say this is a great song, and it's a pretty slick debut track.
Body much like a moonlight. I'm gonna have a good time. Knowing that I like, yeah.
Let Me in 20 Cube. Let Me in 20 Cube is a really fun, kind of fan servicey track. I mean, it literally says, I'll be your boyfriend over and over again in the lyrics. Overall, I really like it. I think it has this nice groovy chorus, and I think it's just overall a really sweet song. I think it's super cute. And I also really like that, in my opinion, the song has a really hazy rhythmic quality to it. And that kind of hazy rhythmic quality almost makes it a little intoxicating. This song, like, gives me the vibes. It just makes me want to get, like, mildly drunk on a foggy evening tropical beach, so take that as you will. I just really like singing along to this song, and I like how it's really honest and straightforward. It's so forward, in fact. I mean, they're just basically saying, like, I want to be your boyfriend, or the speaker is saying that to whoever they're singing to. I just love that, like, it almost feels like you have to be a little intoxicated to sing this to another human being. Like, you have to be so confident and have no, like, apprehensions or stuff like that. No apprehension. Um, and honestly, we love to see it. It's just a really cute and, like, forward song. I especially like Jake's vocals in this piece, especially in the bridge. And I also like how they let Nikki hit the bottom of the ocean floor in his vocal performance. They really let him use his deep voice, and they really let him go, like, as deep as he can go. And deep voices, for male K-pop idols, they're more unusual for in K-pop, and we just stan a bass king. Like, I don't really like when they make them go higher if that's not where their voice naturally is. And I feel like they tend to focus more on higher male voices, which are pretty, but deep, throaty male voices can also be very beautiful. And I just like that they really don't make Nikki force his voice to do something that it can't, and they just really let him go as deep as he can go, like all the ratty tat tat and stuff like that. I think he sounds very nice, and I love that they're letting him use his natural voice. And as for the lyrics, I actually really love the lyrics of this song a lot. I love the metaphor of the song. The metaphor of the song is basically everyone's, like, world is like a fishbowl or a fish tank that they live in, and the 20 cube part of the title is basically the standard size for, like, a small aquarium for fish. And I just really like this metaphor because I think it's really accurate. Us as humans, we all live in, like, our own little worlds, and we don't really exist in other people's spaces unless we let them in or they let us into that little world. We pass by people all the time. There's people who are right next to us, but we're so separate from them. We're walled in by our own perception, our own little tiny fishbowl of a world. And I really like how basically Enhypen is saying, like, let me into that little world, using that, like, let me into the fish tank that is your little world that's perfectly curated to yourself. And I really like that kind of metaphor. I think it's very clever, and I also think it's kind of a good representation for what happens when you, like, open your heart or your mind or your headspace or your time to any person, but also even an idol, like a K-pop idol or something like that, into your life. And basically, they come into your world. So you have a little fishbowl that's, like, your world and everything, your emotions, your headspace, your plans. And then to, like, let a K-pop group into that space to give them love and attention, in your own way. Obviously, you're not, like, physically with them because it's a parasocial relationship. It's not like a person to person relationship, but you're basically letting them into your world. Like, they are now exist in that space. And I think that's, like, an interesting little thing that they kind of was a clever metaphor that the writers of the song came up with. Um, One of my favorite lyrics is your cramped little world is perfect alone, but don't shove me away. Let me in, take me, let me into that place. I just really like that lyric, and I basically like it because he basically says that the cramped little world she already has. So it's like her own life before the speaker comes. It's already like perfect, fully complete without him. And I really like that because a lot of like songs like with that are kind of fan servicey, they're like, oh girl, like let me complete your half, like let me fix you, let me save you and stuff like that. And I really like that in this song it doesn't go about that really cliche and kind of, in my opinion, like not the best route. He's basically saying your life is fine, perfect without me. You're a fully complete person, you have a fully complete life, but you should let the speaker into her life anyway, to the girl he's talking to. And I just really liked that because I just think those songs where the guy has to heal the girl or like make her complete are patronizing and dumb, like I already mentioned. And it's fine if you disagree and they're like your guilty pleasure or something like that. But I like more when two people are like complete on their own, and then when they come together, they're making something like even better, but they're not broken pieces that are in need of like completion, and they don't need necessarily healing by the other person. And I just like that that song acknowledges that. Let Me in Honey Cube, it basically is like the speaker is saying the girl, like he's not saying you're broken or less complete without him. He's just saying that in his eyes she's already perfect, and he just wants to be kind of let in on that perfection. Basically he wants to share like this already complete, she's already a complete person, so is he, but he still wants to enter into her life, and I really like that aspect. Also, I really like the lyrics. Maybe I might hurt you, I might shatter your perfection. And I really like how these are kind of dangerous sounding, and I like how they relate back to the theme of the song and like the metaphor. And it basically reminds me of how when you let someone into your world, into your life, you obviously let in the possibility of a threat. Basically, there's no way telling if you open your heart and become vulnerable with somebody, if that's going to be like a great blessing to you or it's going to end up hurting you in the end, because obviously letting someone in can be very vulnerable. And I like how they basically say they might shatter the perfection, like shatter the perfection of the glass, like break the fish tank. And I think it's just kind of a clever visual way of portraying that vulnerableness. And I like how those lines almost get, once again, dangerous and kind of aggressive and also blunt. It's like this frankness that's like already adds to that kind of feral, drunken rhythm of the song. The speaker is basically like, oh yeah, I can hurt you, but I want you to let me in anyway, because like his own desires like you. Like he wants to be the girl's boyfriend. And I don't mean hurt in a physical way, obviously that's scary, but basically he's willing to take that risk of hurting your emotions because he wants to. And that sounds strange, but it's basically like it gives it a very like once again almost like feral rhythmic, like it's almost like bass, like animalistic in a little bit, and that sounds a little odd, but it is very like my heart wants you. That's like, you know, my heart likes you. There's some of the lyrics in the song, and I just think that's very interesting because it's not my whole self likes you, like my brain, all my thinking, like, you know, when you like make a decision with all the different parts, like your heart, your brain, you know, your soul, whatever, you're really like thinking it through and using like your reasoning and your feelings and all that. But like in that line, my heart likes you, and those kind of lines in the song, it's basically like it's completely emotional. He just wants you. The speaker wants whoever he's singing to in a very like only emotional and passionate way, not necessarily with his full faculties in order. Once again, this is very age appropriate for them because they're at the age of their lives. The Enhypen boys, their age range is like 19 to 15 or something like that. And, you know, their frontal cortexes are not even fully developed, nor their reasoning skills. They're in a very impulsive time in their lives. And I just think it's like really cute. The song is very cheeky, and I just really like it overall. So basically, this whole song gives me the vibes of I'll be your boyfriend, but not your husband. Just this super fun song of these flippant, fickle, passionate teens. And I just feel like a song couldn't fit Enhypen better, especially for their age and debut concept. So, pretty good. Believe you win this round.
자, 이제 내게 기대 정말로 이제 내게 기대 정말로
10 months. 10 Months is a really cute song. It's got this nice drum beat and it's just overall really groovy and easy to sway and sing along to. It's one of the songs in the album that I had the most fun watching the boys perform. It's age appropriate for them and just overall really adorable. The song is about a boy who's just gotten old enough to like an older female friend of his, but that older female friend, she still treats him like he's a kid. The song is basically about him pouting and demanding that she start treating him like an adult, which is like really adorable because it shows that he isn't actually that mature yet. And basically him asking her to rely on him and swearing that he can protect her from now on. It's a really wholesome and sweet song. Basically, they just want the girl that they're singing to, they want her to share some of the burden with him like a grown-up instead of seeing him as like a sweet younger brother who couldn't possibly protect or help her in any real way. But I just think it's really cute that the speaker of the song is determined to tell the girl that he does want to protect her and he wants her to rely on him. It's a really cute concept, and I don't think I've really heard a song with this particular subject matter before. It reminds me of vaguely of 20 Centimeters by TXT, but kind of the concept turned on its head some. 20 Centimeters by TXT is about like a boy and girl who were friends as kids and they were like growing up and going through puberty, and now the male friend is interested in his female friend in a way he never was before. But 10 Months is more like Enhypen has always been in love with this elder female friend, and only now as he comes of age is he really trying to express that to her. I just think it's a cute idea for a song. The title of 10 Months comes from the idea that the speaker doesn't want the friend to see him as a cute little puppy, but rather like a grown-up. And like an example of this in the song, some of the lyrics are, "You'll find out soon enough, even though you treat me like a puppy, all day, all night, starting tomorrow, I will protect you all day, all night." And basically, if you didn't know, most puppies are fully grown at 9 months old. And so Enhypen being 10 months old is basically like the metaphor for being 1 month past being fully grown. So it's basically a song about puppy love. I just think it's a really cute, fun song, and I don't really get sick of it too easily. Like, I play these on loop when I write the reviews. Like, so if I'm writing this section for 10 months, I play it on loop in the background to kind of see if it has any replay value and stuff like that. And I really did not get sick of it listening to it the whole time. I don't really seek it out that often, but it's enough of a bop that I always smile when it comes on. It's nice to have some like really wholesome content around the idol industry. It's with so many songs that are questionable. Just nice that this is a very innocent, sweet song with some really sweet sentiments. As for notable performances, I think Heesung's vocals sound really, really good here. They sound very clear, like clear as a bell. His performance is just really good in this piece for some reason. I feel like he really gets the concept, and his voice just sounds so clean and pretty with just that little bit of whine pushed in that I think makes it sound really good. 왜 자꾸 외칠 끝에 정말 컸다는데. The clarity in that line was just so freaking beautiful. Also, Jake is practically carrying this song on his back in his vocal performance. In my opinion, Jake is one of Enhypen's most talented vocalists in terms of his range, and I really feel like the producers really used him well here. Jake has sometimes struggles hitting the really challenging like high notes that they make him do live. But really, in the studio, he can just really dazzle with his voice, and I'm sure he'll get better in his live performances over time. I just really like that they used his range and his kind of vocal color to their benefit in this song, and I just felt like his was a pretty standout performance. And also, I thought Sunu's lighter, almost inching towards nasal delivery right after Jake's like love part in the chorus, I thought that sounded really nice. So Jake and him sound really good one after another in my opinion. Like I really like Jake's a little bit fuller voice, and then Sunu's kind of like soft like feather, but also with this kind of like nasal undertone. I liked them right one after another. I thought that was really nice. And I also wanted to share that these are another bit of my favorite lyrics, and I just thought that this was a really great delivery by Jake, and he sung that I was going to share here. 내 몸짓이 지켜머리 내 말투가 미덥장 걸어라 하지만 기다려 키만큼 맘도 자라서 lines. I thought it was super adorable the way Jake admitted that maybe he wasn't like as put together as he's been kind of saying he is, and he's still a little clumsy and awkward, and I just thought that was really cute. And also my like favorite line in the whole piece is but wait, when my heart grows as big as my height or as tall as my height. I just thought that was like a really adorable line, and I'm just like, whoever they are singing to, girl, she is blessed. But anyway, I just thought that I'd share those lines with you because I really enjoyed them. Also, I just thought it was kind of funny. I feel like Nikki should be the best at this song because he is the youngest, and the song is a very like youthful energy singing to this a little bit older friend. But I was just cracking up. I wanted to share with you. But Nikki is just so good. He literally sounds much more mature than his youngs here, and I'm just deceased. Like, I just thought that was funny that like he sung like the eldest member like exudes that really like cheeky youthful energy where he's trying to like impress this older girl and stuff, and like literally all the older members, and then like Nikki should be the best at this song, and he's good, don't get me wrong, but he just sounds so much more mature than his youngs, and I'm just like, it's so funny. Like, why isn't Hypen like this? Like, how does Engine survive with all this cuteness abound? I just do not understand. But anyway, 10 Months is a really good song, and I just think it's really cute overall, and I definitely like listening to it. Flicker was a track that was originally written for Island, the survival show that Enhypen was formed from, but it was repurposed and re-recorded by Enhypen for Enhypen's first mini album. It's a smooth synth pop track. I know nothing about music. Why do I even use these genre words? I literally don't know what any of these genres mean. But anyway, Flicker, the song, is about a secret signal between two people who have this like unspoken connection. Like, they never speak, but there's this flicker, which is assumed to be perhaps a flicker of light, such as like a flare or Morse code, or like, you know, like I think ships will send light distress signals to one another. It's basically a signal for that other person. Basically the speaker and the person that the signal is for in the song complete each other and have each other and like understand each other even though they never speak or touch. It's abstract, and the only literal way I can think to interpret it is it's Enhypen singing to Engine, Engine being their fan base, and basically like Engine will never or probably never speak to Enhypen or like be in even the same room as Enhypen or touch them or anything like that, not in a weird way, just like hold their hand or something weird. And I hope you heard that cat notification from my phone. Professional YouTuber, everybody. But anyway, basically, but together, the relationship between Enhypen and Engine, this like signal, this flicker that they communicate with, they make the world right. They like understand each other in a way that nobody else can, and like all that BS. I don't really like the meaning of this song. It's like kind of cringe, to be honest, but the song as like musically, is a bop. I ain't gonna lie. I think the chorus really slaps, and it's just a really satisfying listen overall. Like I said before, I personally don't like the meaning because, come on, it is just so cheesy. Oh my gosh. Like, isn't it enough just to appreciate your fans as good humans who you're grateful towards because they appreciate your performances and music and entertainment you create and allow you to continue to do that as a musical artist? But no, Engine and Hype need a mystical, complete each other's half cosmic connection, even though that's literally dumb. Like, it's literally dumb. I'm sorry, but it's true. Engine, don't find my address and come for me. I'm an Engine too. It's just my opinion. If you love this kind of concept in the lyrics, that's totally fine. For me, I don't really like the meaning of the song. It's possible that I'm like totally interpreting it wrong, but like, who else are they talking to? Like, who else is the speaker of the song talking to? Like, what kind of relationship do you never speak or touch except a parasocial one and their idols? And this is a very fan servicey album, so that's just the assumption that I am making. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with like having a parasocial relationship with idols, giving them love and support, and then being very grateful and returning that appreciation. But it's like you don't have a cosmic connection. You don't complete each other. That's like some Delulu ass energy, but whatever. Like I said, if you are like, oh my gosh, like I complete Enhypen, like go off, I guess. It's just for me personally really cringy. And then you guys are gonna be like, well, in your last TXT review, like you were like fangirling over Human Kai. It's like, yeah, so what's going on? Anyway, getting back to Flicker. Yeah, the song is really cool sounding. Like I already said, the chorus is really good, and I just find the song very addictive overall. For notable performances, I think Sung Hoon's voice is really nice in this. He has a smoother and more like melodic voice than some of the other members, and like I didn't really notice it, but as I was listening, I'm like, dang, like his voice really shines in this piece. And like also Don't Come For Me, Jungwon Biased Humans, but like I personally don't like, as for like a negative notable performance, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this. I might be tracked down by Engine and killed. But anyway, please, Engine, don't do this to me. But anyway, I'm sure you all know Jungwon has a very particular nasal sharp tone to his voice, and that's totally fine. It's just his natural voice. But I personally don't vibe with it in this particular song. Like he's a great singer, and I'm sure he put his best effort into it. Plus, there are other people who definitely probably find his voice in this song to be their cup of tea. And also, he had a vocal director with him. So, like, I'm sure like a lot of people think this is good. But I just like this song is so like kind of dreamy and like very, I don't know, almost cosmic sounding. It's smooth. It's like very luxurious. And then like Jungwon just comes in like, yeah, I'm like, oh dang, like I was just punched in the face. And like I'd rather just like be like, you know, flickering or what is this? I don't know, but Sunghoon is the best here. He sounds so good. Sunghoon, Flicker Supremacy, Let's Go. And overall, I do like Flicker as a song. I think it's a pretty good bop. And also, that was no hate to Jungwon. I love him. He's super cute and he's very talented and everything. I just didn't like his performance in this particular song vocally, but Don't Come For Me, and he's a really great singer overall, okay? So please, Jungwon fans, please don't do this to me, okay? Mwah.
We're up is down and down is up, and life is a mixed with death, or what we must survive.
This a nightmare feel? Was it the same guy who got his freaky hands all over Eternity by TXT? Because I am terrified. This is giving me like series of unfortunate events and Phantom of the Opera vibes. It's like horrifying. It's basically spoken word poetry over ungodly children's laughter and creepy music. Like, free me from this. This is so terrifying. And also, despite how creepy and just, oh my gosh, this should not exist, I must be going nuts, but I actually dig it. Like, the intro to this album was not for me at all, but I guess I'm like an emo goth or something because, yeah, this is totally delightfully creepy and it's very, like, invoking. It gives me vibes like an animatic for the Dream SMP should be made to this or something. I'm just putting that out there, guys. This is like a really, like, cinematic feeling kind of creepy music. I really like it. I'm gonna put it in the background next time I write like a scary scene for one of my books. I think it'll set a really good mood, and I'm just shook by it overall. Also, I really dig those like Phantom of the Opera riffs. It's like pretty much sounds like Phantom to me near the end of the song. I don't know where it is exactly. Don't ask. Anyway, also Jake is just super terrifying in his delivery of the spoken poetry. No offense to the kid, he's my bias, don't ask, but he sounds super clueless when he's reading most of these stupid English poems that they write for him. But in his delivery here in this outro, which I forgot to tell you is called Cross the Line, I'm sure you know, like, if you're not an engine, why are you here? Unless you're my family and I'm forcing you to watch. Where are we? But anyway, Jake's got this like real sinisterness that he has in his delivery, and like I'm digging that energy. It's got a really great intensity, and like maybe he was a theater kid before he was an idol. I don't know. But anyway, I hope Jake becomes the villain of their Dark Moon storyline because he'd be so badass. I'd die. Jake supremacy. Anyway, so yeah, this does it. Basically, I really like outro Cross the Line. I think it's delightfully creepy, and I just really think it kind of like invokes some cool emotion. So yeah, I think it's pretty good overall. I must have been going nuts. As for my ranking for the songs in this mini album, if you don't know, I like to rank the songs at the end of my album reviews because I just enjoy ranking things. So my favorite song in this album is Outro Cross the Line. I totally ragged on the outro and intros at the beginning of this entire review back when I was doing Walk the Line, but I really enjoyed this outro. I'm just a simp for like FNAF energy, I guess, so yeah. My second favorite song is Given Taken. You know what I said. It's a really rich song. It's very smooth sounding. I really like the vocals. Everything's just really clean. It's like a nice. So yes. My third favorite is 10 Months. Just straight adorableness. So yeah. Flicker is my next favorite song. It's my fourth favorite. I just once again think that it's super addictive and I really enjoy listening to it, even if I do think the meaning is a little cheesy. Then my next favorite song is Let Me In 20 Cube. I like this song, but it's not necessarily my favorite. And then my last one is Intro Walk the Line, and that's my least favorite, and it's just something pretty much never listen to and always skip it. So yeah. So overall, I thought this was a really good starter debut mini album. I really enjoyed it. It's a nice listening experience with different styles, but it still feels cohesive as a listening experience, even with the different styles. The only thing I'll say as a negative is they did go heavy on the fan service, and I don't know if that's their thing. Like maybe Enhypen's going to be like a really heavy fan servicey group. I mean, in Let Me In 20 Cube, but the song literally has them saying, I'll be your boyfriend over and over again, and Flicker is, well, Flicker is Flicker, so maybe I'd be super fangirling if I was like 7 years younger than I am, but like I'm a grown adult woman, so I mean, I'm not super old or anything, I'm pretty young, but like, you know what I'm saying? These boys I see more as like younger brothers to me, if anything, so none of them really have the authority, in my opinion, to speak about a cosmic connection that completes them or the danger to shatter your perfection. Most of them have probably never had girlfriends that lasted more than a few months, if at all, and one of them is the literal age of my younger brother, and that is endlessly weird to me. Like, why did Big Hit let a child debut? I have so many questions and concern. I'm sorry, but 15-year-olds should live with their parents in, I don't know, their own country. To my understanding, Nikki's parents live in Japan, so like why a 15-year-old is in a foreign country without his parents? Like, does anyone know that? Like, why does Korea not have child protection laws? Like, please get on that, Korea. I'm like really weirded out and scared for Nikki's safety. Still, the album was at least very cheesy and age appropriate, so that's good. I'm pretty sure that the 13-year-olds were just beyond their senses, that they super were like fangirling all over this album, and I really like the music, but I do wonder, in like reflecting on this album and this review, if I'm a bit too old for this album, which makes me endlessly depressed. I guess I just wish some of the songs were a bit deeper and more complex in meaning and sound, but like not every good mini album is really deep and complex, and so I like this album for what it is. I think it's really good. I give it 2 thumbs up, and that's basically my review. I think it's pretty good overall, and it's definitely worth a listen if you haven't checked it out. Some of the songs have a lot of replay value, some have less, but overall I think it's a really good mini album and a great debut. So anyway, I hope you guys are all going to have an amazing day, and I hope you're staying safe and you're in a good mental and physical place. If you aren't, just hang in there and don't be afraid to reach out for help. God loves you. Things are going to get better. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to contemplate how old I am and why South Korea has no child protection laws. Bye! Mwah.
빛을 따라왔어